So good evening, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to present what we think FinTech is about in 10 years from today, at least in the MENA region. Where we see FinTech in 10 years, we see definitely how smart capital should be connected and funding private sector for the next 10 years. Where we stand today in the GCC is where we are shifting from an austerity period due to oil price slump towards a long-term transformation of our economies, resetting economies, and FinTech can play a key role here. If we see where things are going by 2030, the economic growth is going to be unlocked or unleashed by transformational plans, government transformational plans, in addition to the growing role of private sector. We estimate that the economic opportunity for private sector is estimated at least at $570 billion, which need to be funded. When you add to it the current funding gap in the region, which is estimated at least at $1.7 trillion, we think that FinTech can play a large role in funding this gap, which is already within the FinTech industry at $2 billion opportunity for companies, which this $2 billion is today at around 100 million funded during the last 10 years. So if we compare how many private investments happened in the last 10 years in MENA region, we see that the total investments in FinTech industry is only at around 0.007 of GDP. When you compare these numbers to what's happening in the emerging markets, we think that the missed opportunity as of today is at around $2 billion. When compared to, let's say, more advanced countries' averages, we think that the under-penetration of FinTech today is at least $10 billion, of which only $100 million were invested. So 570 billion is your economic opportunity coming from growth and shift from public to private sector. Our underfunding today is at $1.7 trillion. There is a clear lack of access to finance by private sector, being it from a bank funding, from capital markets in their equity and fixed income levels. So where we see things going forward, there is a clear shift globally and the region from traditional funding towards financial technology or FinTech. MENA ecosystem is clearly building up as we go. Number of companies or number of startups within FinTech has went from 1 in 2002 or 7 in 2007 to at least 100 today, and expected to cross the 250 level in the next 10 years. So if FinTech is the next wave of investments. 2017 in numbers have been one of the pillar years within FinTech. They out of 410 million of funds raised by startups, FinTechs have accounted to at least 10%, which show there is the opportunity there. Technology players are accounted around 40% today, and FinTech is one key component of it. And 35% of FinTech deals of the last 10 years happened in 2017, to say things are growing exponentially. If we want to look at what are the fundraising happenings in the last years, definitely we have success stories to build on. Many ventures have raised, let's say, double-digit millions of dollars, and that show that the proof is in the pudding. Investors are investing in FinTech. So today, ecosystem is gradually building up. The first wave happened in payments, in lending. We see lots of startups enter these sectors, which we think are the first wave plays. Second wave plays are currently happening and going more into money transfer, wealth management, insurance, blockchains. So what are the driving factors? We think that there are domestic driving factors that are at core of this FinTech change. Government's initiatives are key here. We see in UAE, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Bahrain with the FinTech Bay, KSA joining forces with UAE. There are lots of initiatives where governments are a key driving force to propel the ecosystem to the next level. Financial inclusion is another one. Banking the unbanked in the MENA region. If you compare banking presence in MENA region, especially, let's say, in more the heavyweights, you see that there is a clear gap in banking reach in the region here when compared to peer countries, either emerging or advanced countries. Plus, for the banks, there is a clear shift in customer perception. More and more customers or consumers are embracing technology. Technology is the way of doing business, and FinTech or financial or doing finance through technology is definitely a shift in a behavior. Beyond consumer, SMEs are one of the key components of our economies, and SMEs lack huge funding. If you compare SME access to finance to global region, you see that MENA corporates lack access, especially the cash-rich companies, where fintech can play a role in funding these companies. So, what are the emerging trends that we see for the future? Definitely there is a shift, there is a sector shift in business models in the region here. We are going from the first wave, which is payment, to a second wave or to a first plus wave, which is we see a rise of lending and capital raising, where our second wave now sectors are going more into blockchains, and we see that the share in startup creation is happening here in the region. Geographic focus, KSA UAE remain the heavyweights here in terms of target geographies, especially that they account for 45% of GDP, and customers have embraced already mobile and online banking. Banks are being reshaped. Banks are not resisting technology but are embracing. There is no competition between banks and fintechs. There is a complementarity here. We see lots of initiatives here. MSMBD, their 1 billion upgrade of infrastructure platform operating model. Arab Bank launched a venture fund, 30 million venture fund to invest in fintechs. Mashriq Bank, Commercial Bank of Dubai, etc., are all going into digital banking. The global context is conducive. We are definitely seeing this bridge, idea bridge or business model bridge. The wave of fintech that we saw in the West is coming here. In the West, investments in fintechs is going at 100%. If you see 2012, 14 compared to today, there is a huge increase in investments. Lots of proven models within investment banks, within investment firms, where many PEs or VCs are building aggressive portfolios within venture capital. The MENA region compared to global, we are definitely at very early stages. Today, we have around 24 global unicorns valued at $84 billion. The count for the MENA region is 0 as of today. So definitely, we're going to see in the near future a unicorn at least rising from the region here. So the GCC financial industry 2.0 is definitely around the corner. The new oil of the region is definitely the consumer and the technology. You can no more resist it. You need to embrace technology. The old playbook has to be thrown. We're going to see definitely as a next step consolidation in the first wave sectors like payments lending, and definitely new but difficult to penetrate segments such as the blockchains and others. Thank you. So, I was more than fast in this one. Huh? Thank you.